In a world that feels so chaotic and just overwhelming a lot of the time, how do we find any sense of inner order? Well, today we're diving into the pretty profound teachings of Vimalaji on a process she calls intensive self-education. It's a framework for building a life with intention and clarity, and it starts with the absolute simplest of actions.
So let's just start with a question that I think is going to hit home for a lot of us. You've got the to-do lists, right? You've got your calendars, your reminders. But does life still feel like this whirlwind of just disjointed actions and reactions? If you're nodding along, you're definitely not alone, and this framework might just be the anchor you've been looking for. Okay, so let's get into it. Vimalaji introduces this concept called Sadhana. Now hold on, this isn't about some mystical, far-out practice you can't possibly attain. No, she frames it as something really practical, an observable science of living, basically a methodical way to bring order and clarity to our entire being.
So what is sadhana, really? At its heart, it's a process of purification. But the approach is completely counterintuitive. It's not about adding more knowledge or piling on more rules. It's actually about unlearning all the disorderly and, as she says, unscientific habits that just cloud our view of reality. I mean, think of it like decluttering your mind, getting rid of that constant compulsion to multitask or the endless search for validation from others. And this, right here, is the crucial point. We are so conditioned to think that self-improvement means cramming more information into our heads. Get another certification, read another book. But Vimalaji flips that completely on its head. The path to real clarity involves shedding, not accumulating. It's about creating space for what actually matters. So the real work, the real journey is in unlearning all our conditioned responses on every single level of our being. How we treat our bodies, how we speak, and of course, how we think. This isn't just about tweaking a few bad habits. It's a complete overhaul, and it starts from the ground up.
And look, this isn't just about becoming more organized so you can be more productive. It's a fundamental shift in perception. The whole goal of this unlearning is to move from a state of delusion and confusion, which is the darkness, into a state of clarity and a direct understanding of life as it really is. And that's the light. So, where on earth do we start this pretty intensive journey? Not with complex meditation or deep philosophy, nope. We start with the body. Vimalaji is absolutely adamant that true, lasting order begins at the most tangible, physical level of our existence. This quote really just lays it all out, right? It's a direct link. If our physical life is chaotic, our sleep, our nutrition, our surroundings, it's pretty much impossible to find peace emotionally or mentally. The body, she says, is the foundation. Everything else is built on top of it. You just can't build a stable house on shifting sand. So let's break that down. She gives us 4 really concrete pillars to build this physical foundation. What we eat, how we rest, how we move, and how we actually structure our time. I mean, this makes the whole thing feel so much more practical and achievable, doesn't it? And these aren't just vague suggestions. The teachings get super specific, and they always focus on the why. For instance, eating with the sun's cycle. That's about working with our natural body rhythms, not against them. A strict sleep schedule? It's crucial because our bodies and minds absolutely thrive on consistency. And avoiding idleness. That just keeps our whole system sharp and responsive. It's all about creating this powerful, life-affirming rhythm for yourself. Okay, so we've got the foundation. Now let's move up to the next level and see how this all connects. Once we establish order in the body, the very next area for this self-education is our speech. How we use our words can either create way more chaos or cultivate some profound clarity.
This slide just lays it out so perfectly. On one side, you've got disordered speech. The little exaggerations to make a story better, the gossip, the mindless chatter that just fills space but kind of pollutes our inner world. And then, on the other side, educated speech. Accuracy, precision, sincerity, and speaking with real intention. The difference is pretty stark when you see it like that.
And what this all boils down to is integrity. Vimalaji warns us about this split personality that develops when our words don't line up with our thoughts or our actions. Real order comes from being a homogeneous whole, where what you think, what you say, and what you do are all in perfect harmony.
All right, so from the physical and the verbal, we're now going even deeper into the emotional realm. And this, for many of us, can be the most turbulent layer to bring into order. Vimalaji says it requires one essential quality above all others: patience.
Wow, this is such a powerful insight.
Emotional order isn't about fighting our feelings or suppressing them. It's about a radical acceptance of ourselves and our past, exactly as we are, right now. The moment we stop judging ourselves, when we stop that endless cycle of comparison, patience just arises naturally. And it's from that place of patient observation that emotional purification can really truly begin.
So, we've looked at the physical, the verbal, and the emotional. But what's the end game here? What's the ultimate goal of all this purification and unlearning? Well, it's to live a unified, whole life.
And this is where we get to the absolute heart of her teaching. Vimalajir completely dismantles this idea that our daily material life, our jobs, our chores, our relationships, is somehow separate from a spiritual life. Life, she says, is a wholeness. There is no separation. It's all one thing. And really, if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's this. Spirituality isn't something you do for an hour on a yoga mat or during a 10-minute meditation. It is the quality of attention, the care and the orderliness that you bring to washing the dishes, to speaking with a colleague, or to organizing your day. It's an attitude woven into the very fabric of every single moment.
So, as we wrap this up, the question isn't how to totally overhaul your entire life by tomorrow. It's much simpler. It's this: looking at the physical, the verbal, or the emotional, what is one small, concrete step you can take today to begin unlearning the chaos and start cultivating some order?